the top U.S. diplomat to Ukraine under subpoena, and what he said today about President Trump, about the U.S. aid, the money withheld from Ukraine. What was wanted in exchange? Meantime, President Trump igniting a new firestorm tonight amid the impeachment inquiry, tweeting he's the victim of a lynching. Fierce reaction tonight. The high school shooting today, police and parents rushing to the scene, the arrest tonight. The mother now charged with murdering her own daughter after she claimed for years her daughter was terminally ill. The child's body exhumed, the mother charged. New federal charges in the college admissions cheating scandal tonight against actress Lori Loughlin, her husband, and 9 other parents. Overseas tonight in Syria after the president pulled U.S. troops from a key part of Syria. Vladimir Putin and Turkey's President Erdogan meeting today and what they've now decided to do. The case that caused outrage here at home, the officer who handcuffed a father, detaining the mother too after their 4-year-old was accused of taking a doll at a store. What's happened now? News coming in tonight on that West Point cadet. They are concerned and asking for the public's help tonight. And Diane Sawyer with Michael Douglas and his son Cameron. Tonight, Michael Douglas describing to Diane the emotional breaking point with his struggling son.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. And we begin with what the Democrats tonight are calling the most damaging testimony yet in the impeachment inquiry. Some Republicans concerned tonight, too. What the top U.S. diplomat to Ukraine said today about President Trump and about that money withheld from Ukraine. That diplomat, Bill Taylor, testifying under subpoena that the order to withhold U.S. military aid came directly from the president, and that giving Ukraine that money meant the Ukrainian president would have to say publicly he was investigating the Bidens, the company Joe Biden's son worked for, and the Democrats in the 2016 election. ABC's Mary Bruce leads us off from the Hill tonight.
Tonight, the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, Bill Taylor, is directly linking President Trump to the heart of the impeachment inquiry, telling Congress Trump himself ordered a hold on foreign aid to Ukraine until that country's president publicly declared they would investigate the Bidens and debunked theories about the 2016 election.
In my 10 short months in Congress, it's not even noon, right? And this is my most disturbing day in Congress so far.
Democrats in the room say there were audible gasps and sighs as Taylor, a career diplomat, detailed the White House's pressure campaign. Taylor says he was given no official reason for why millions of dollars in foreign aid was held up, but that the U.S. ambassador to the EU told him President Trump wanted the Ukrainian president to announce a public investigation into his Democratic rivals. Ambassador Sondland said everything was dependent on such an announcement, including security assistance. He said that President Trump wanted President Zelensky in a public box by making a public statement about ordering such investigations. The president's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, has admitted military aid was cut off in part to pressure Ukraine to investigate Democrats.
He also mentioned to me in the past that the corruption related to the DNC server. Absolutely. No question about that.
What you just described is a quid pro quo. It is funding will not flow unless the investigation into the Democratic server happens as well.
We do that all the time with foreign policy.
Mulvaney has since tried to walk that back, but Taylor today testified that it was clear that money would not come unless Ukraine investigated. He says, my understanding was that the Secretaries of Defense and State, the CIA director, and the National Security Advisor sought a joint meeting with the president to convince him to release the hold, but that meeting never happened. But Taylor says Trump was adamant that the president told Sondland the Ukrainian president had to clear things up and do it in public, and if he didn't, Trump said they would be at a stalemate, which Taylor took to mean that Ukraine would not receive that much-needed money. The next day, Taylor sent Sondland that now famous text message saying he thought it was crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign. Sondland replied that the president has been crystal clear, no quid pro quos of any kind. A message Sondland has testified was dictated by Trump himself.
All right, so let's get to Mary Bruce. She's live up on the Hill tonight. And Mary, that diplomat, Bill Taylor, describing, quote, 2 channels of policymaking with regard to Ukraine, the official channel, and he said the one led by the president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani.
And David Taylor says these two channels were separate and often at odds, one pushing for military aid for Ukraine, the other trying to use that same aid to pressure Ukraine to investigate. And Taylor says that unofficial channel, led by Rudy Giuliani, was, quote, running contrary to the goals of longstanding U.S. policy. David.
Mary Bruce on a very busy day on the Hill. Mary, thank you. Meantime, President Trump igniting a new firestorm tonight with an angry tweet about the impeachment inquiry, calling himself a victim of a, quote, lynching. There is fierce reaction tonight from Democrats and Republicans, and all of it comes amid another late headline today, a new book about to be published by an anonymous senior administration official, the same one who wrote an op-ed last year about, quote, the resistance inside the Trump administration. It infuriated the president then, and here's ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl now.
He's called it a witch hunt, a coup, a fraud, and a scam. But today, President Trump used a new epithet to describe the impeachment inquiry, and one with violent racial overtones. He called it a lynching.
Every time his back is against the wall, he throws out a racial bomb. But how dare he compare our constitutional obligation for oversight to a hate crime?
Lynching has long described the racist murders of African Americans by hanging. There have been more than 4,000 documented lynchings since the end of the Civil War. But Republican Senator Lindsey Graham jumped to the president's defense.
This is a lynching in every sense. This is un-American.
Tim Scott, the Senate's only African American Republican, said he didn't think the president's use of the term was racially charged, but
I get his absolute rejection of the process. I wouldn't use the word lynching.
And listen to what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told our Mary Bruce.
Is that how you would characterize this inquiry, as a lynching?
Given the history in our country, I would not compare this to a lynching. That was an unfortunate choice of words.
John Karl with us live at the White House tonight. And John, as we also mentioned there's also news tonight about this administration official who wrote that anonymous op-ed in the New York Times describing, quote, resistance within the Trump administration. Now that person's writing a book.
Yes, it was announced by the publisher 12 Books today that Anonymous, who remains anonymous, will have a book out next month. It's called A Warning. As you recall, it described that quiet resistance within the Trump administration and said, quote, I work for the president, but like-minded colleagues and I have vowed to thwart parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations. David, the article said Americans should know there are adults in the room.
All right, John Karl tonight. Thank you, John. We're also following dangerous weather tonight on both coasts. The same front that spawned 11 reported tornadoes from Texas to Tennessee, now dropping dangerous rain from the Carolinas all the way up to the Northeast tonight. In fact, a very difficult commute home for many. And in the West tonight, the fire danger now growing, heat advisories and red flag warnings as we're on the air tonight. So let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee tracking it all again for us. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, David, right in the middle of the rain and fog here in New York City, but anywhere up from Albany down to Philadelphia going to be a challenging commute thanks to the rain. It could be severe in North Carolina. We've already seen tornado warnings pop along this cold front. So if you're in New Bern, North Carolina, for example, you're still ahead of this line and could still see the next couple of hours some damaging wind potential. But let's go West Coast because there's so much going on here. Red flag warnings are in effect tonight through early tomorrow, or through the day tomorrow in Northern, all the way through the Sierra, up to 45-mile-per-hour winds. Relative humidity is down to 10%. That's tomorrow, but then Thursday into Friday is the big day for Southern California. It'll get hot there again by the end of the week, David.
All right, Ginger Zee with us again tonight. Thank you, Ginger. Next this evening to the school shooting tonight near a California high school, 2 high schools, in fact, and a community college immediately put on lockdown. Armed police searching the campus, taking a potential suspect into custody. What authorities revealed just a short time ago, and ABC's Will Reeve tonight from California.
Tonight, an all-too-familiar scene. Students evacuating a school, hands on their heads.
Upgrade this to an active shooter assignment.
Heavily armed police descending on Ridgeway High School in Santa Rosa, California, after a suspect reportedly opened fire outside the campus, hitting one teenager in the abdomen, then running into the school. Choppers overhead, 2 high schools and a nearby junior college locked down as officers searched the school and surrounding area for the suspect.
They searched us and told us to put our hands up. Yeah, it was scary.
The suspect captured in a classroom, led out of the school in handcuffs.
That suspect is being questioned by detectives now. We're still looking for the handgun, which was used in the incident.
Police say that handgun was given to someone who later fled the scene.
David, police say this was an isolated incident between 2 students. The suspect is facing attempted murder charges. The victim is expected to survive. David?
All right, Will Reeve tonight. Thank you, Will. Next, a devastating turn in the death of a little girl in Colorado. Olivia Gant died at age 7 after her mother said she was terminally ill. Strangers had helped her complete her bucket list and donated thousands to her care. But authorities have exhumed her body, and now her mother is charged with murder. ABC's Clayton Sandell from Denver.
Olivia Gant's final wishes brought her community together.
So here's my bucket list.
Her mother constantly by her side as Denver firefighters and police made the 7-year-old an honorary first responder.
She's in intestinal failure, and we don't know how much longer she has.
But 2 years after she died, investigators tonight say Olivia's condition was all a lie. Her mother, 41-year-old Kelly Turner, charged with several counts, including murder. Police tipped off when Turner allegedly lied about a second daughter having cancer. Investigators exhuming Olivia's body a year after she died say they found none of the problems her mother claimed made her sick.
These are parents who are intentionally and deliberately trying to trick health providers and the people around them.
During an interview, detectives say it was Turner who allegedly happened to mention Munchausen by proxy, a psychological disorder where a caregiver makes a child sick on purpose. She denied it, but multiple doctors say they told Turner her daughter was never terminally ill. They say she repeatedly ignored their advice.
But this is medical abuse, where the medical system is being used as a weapon against the child.
Authorities believe Turner was also after money, charging her with receiving fraudulent Medicaid payments totaling more than $500,000 and running a GoFundMe account that raised another $22,000. The official cause of Olivia's death undetermined. Turner has not entered a plea and her attorney is not commenting. As for Turner's other daughter, authorities say once she was separated from her mother, her symptoms disappeared. David?
An awful story, Clayton. Thank you. Overseas tonight in Syria, after the president pulled U.S. troops out of a key part of Syria, Russia's Vladimir Putin and Turkey's President Erdogan meeting today, and what they've now decided to do with the vacuum left by the U.S. ABC's James Longman from Iraq.
Cementing their power in Syria, Turkey and Russia redrawing the map as the US pulls out. After a 6-hour meeting, Presidents Putin and Erdogan agreeing on a new plan for northern Syria. The president of Turkey telling the Kurds their positions will be destroyed and that they must pull back further. The new deal allows Turkey to keep this area they've already taken and forces the Kurdish fighters to pull back from more territory to the east and west along the border. President Erdogan trying to resettle millions of Syrian refugees from Turkey in that Kurdish region. But the fate of hundreds of thousands of Kurdish civilians already uprooted is now in the balance. The UN warning of a looming humanitarian crisis, and with their American partners pulling out, the Kurds may have little choice but to accept the terms of this deal. In 6 days, Turkish and Russian forces will patrol the border, sealing the Kurdish defeat. After years of civil war, Putin is helping Syrian President Assad reclaim his country.
And James Longman in Iraq again tonight. What are we hearing, James, from Kurdish commanders tonight?
Well, David, Kurdish forces say they've already withdrawn from large parts of northern Syria, although this deal is an even bigger concession. But I just think many people there feel in order to save lives, they really don't have much choice. David?
All right, James, our thanks to you again. And back here at home now, and new federal charges in the college admissions cheating scandal tonight against actress Lori Loughlin, her husband, and 9 other parents. Here again, Eva Pilgrim.
Tonight, more charges for Lori Loughlin and her husband, along with 9 other parents who've pleaded not guilty in that Varsity Blues college admissions scandal, each now facing new federal bribery charges.
Additional charges mean additional possible time behind bars. This is clearly prosecutors trying to pressure these parents into cutting a deal.
Loughlin and her husband accused of paying $500,000 to get their 2 daughters into USC by posing them as elite athletes. Those daughters no longer enrolled at USC, but their parents are now facing trial. As for Felicity Huffman, she is set to be released this weekend from prison, where she was spotted getting a visit from her husband and daughter. Huffman pleaded guilty to paying $15,000 to boost her daughter's SAT scores.
She took responsibility almost immediately. She was contrite, did not try to minimize her conduct. I think she handled it in a very classy way.
Do you guys have any comment? Tonight, pressure mounting on the families fighting those charges.
Any and all of these parents could still come forward and say,